this video, we will show how to configure the management VLAN access for any InfiNet wireless unit. VLANs are used to create logical network topologies regardless of the physical topology of the network. It contributes to reducing the multicast traffic in the network, as every VLAN is a separate multicast domain. Another important aspect is that VLANs increase the network security and manageability. It is therefore a common practice to logically separate the management traffic from the data traffic using VLANs. In a Mint network, packet transfer can be either switched or routed. In switching mode, which is by default activated, the decision about how and where to switch packets is based on the switch group IDs and on a set of rules for each group. Once a packet is placed in a corresponding switch group, it is then forwarded to the appropriate interface of the switch group. Starting with firmware version 1.90.0, the management access involves a switch virtual interface, which is a Layer 3 logical interface, and a VLAN logical interface. In the default configuration, the SVI1 interface is included in switch group 1, has the IP address 10.10.10.1, and the management access traffic is untagged. Therefore, in order to pass VLAN tagged management access traffic, a VLAN interface must be created and assigned to the parent SVI interface. The IP address of the Ethernet interface is used in routing configurations, but it can be also used for the management access from the same network segment. One of the common solutions to separate data traffic from the BS to the CPEs and vice versa is to create VLAN filters within different switch groups. For the management traffic, we have to create a separate switch group and VLAN. In this case, the CPEs cannot communicate between them, and they cannot access the management VLAN. The scenario used to present the management VLAN access feature includes a point-to-point link between two InfiNet wireless units and one server machine behind each radio unit. We'll set VLAN 100 and network 10.0.0.0/24 for the management access traffic, and VLAN 101 and network 172.16.0.0/24 for the data traffic. To be noted here that any other VLAN ID in the range 1-4094 can be used as specified by the 802.1q protocol. The scope of the scenario is to show how the slave unit can be remotely accessed from the backbone server via the radio interface using the management VLAN 100. Management access will be denied from the client server connected directly to the slave unit. We'll also show that the user data traffic is permitted to VLAN 101. Let's now connect to the actual management IP address of the slave unit, which in my setup is 10.0.0.2 for performing the configuration. I'm not connected directly to the slave unit, but to the master unit, and I can access the slave unit via the radio link. After the login session, let's go to the basic settings page in the Mac switch section. Here we have switch group number 1 with the default SVI interface attached. We could use switch group number 1 for either data or management traffic, but for simplicity and easy tracking, we will define the switch group IDs to match the VLAN tags. So let's delete the existing configuration by clicking the Remove Management button to remove the default SVI interface. Next, remove also switch group 1. Let's create a new switch group with ID 101 for the data traffic. We'll add the ETH0 and RF 5.0 ports to it, and we'll create a rule to allow only tagged traffic with VLAN 101. And now we're done with the configuration for the user data traffic. Let's move forward to the configuration for the management access and create a new switch group with the ID 100. We won't add the ETH0 interface to switch group 100, since the slave unit should be accessed only via the radio interface, because we want to restrict customer access to the CPE. To complete the switch group configuration, we need to add a rule that will allow only tagged traffic with VLAN 100. The next step in our configuration is to create the interfaces used for the management access traffic. So let's go to the Network Settings section to create an SVI interface in order to allow management access via the radio interface. Click the Create SVI button and then add the SVI interface 100. Add it to switch group 100. Since the management access traffic will be VLAN tagged, we have to further create a VLAN interface. Click the Create VLAN button and add VLAN interface 100. This new interface requires the assignation of a management IP address. We will set the IP 10.0.0.2/24 for it. Next, we need to bind the VLAN 100 sub-interface to the SVI 100 parent interface and to specify the VLAN tag allowed to pass. The remote management configuration of the slave unit is finished, so let's click the Apply button to save the changes. Let's now connect to the actual management IP address of the master unit, which in my setup is 10.0.0.1, for performing the similar configurations. First, we have to delete the default configuration for management access. Let's create a new switch group with ID 101 for the data traffic with the same configuration we performed to the slave unit. Next, create a new switch group with the ID 100. We'll add to it the ETH0 and RF5.0 ports in order to have management access to both master and slave units. To complete the switch group configuration, we need to add a rule that will allow only traffic tagged with VLAN 100. The last step is to create the interfaces used for the management access traffic. The configuration is the same as the one performed to the slave unit, except for the management IP address. I have set the IP 10.0.0.1 for the master unit. The configuration of the master unit is finished, so let's click the Apply button to save the changes. In order to test the management access, I have to add VLAN 100 to the Ethernet interface of the backbone server, which is connected to the master unit. An IP address has to be also assigned from the network subnet of the management IP addresses. The VLAN is set, and we will try now to access both the master and the slave units from the backbone server connected to the master unit. The connection is allowed as expected. Let's now remove VLAN 100 and add a different VLAN tag. This will demonstrate that using a different VLAN, besides the one defined for the management access, will not allow us anymore to log in to the slave unit. Let's proceed. The access is no longer permitted. The result will be the same for untagged traffic. To conclude the scope of our scenario, I've set back VLAN 100 and I've added VLAN 101 for the user data traffic. Let's ping the client server and check the MAC statistics at the slave unit for switch group 101. As you can notice, the number of packets is incrementing on switch group 101, demonstrating that the user data traffic is permitted on VLAN 101. This concludes the scope of the video. Thank you for watching.